What's going on, everyone? This is Terrence here with 1010 Studios, coming to you with another quick live broadcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the QSC TouchMix 16, and we'll welcome you to the channel. We definitely hope that you'll like to watch us again, and we would definitely ask that you subscribe to the channel, stay connected with us. And this way, when we do new videos, new live streams, anything of that nature, you'll be the first to know. And we are dedicated to pro audio, pro video, things of that nature. But primarily here, we will be talking about pro audio equipment, pro audio techniques, software, whatever it might be that can help guide your pro audio experience to the next level and be as productive as possible. Anything that can help you grow in the pro audio field. So here on this particular channel, or actually on this particular broadcast from the channel, we're going to be specifically talking about the TouchMix 16. But before we get into that, I want to kind of give you a little bit of kind of history here itself of where we progressed from. We started off with any of the typical analog mixers, as mixing from Yamaha, Behringer, even Mackie, Samson, and others, and then we took the dip into the pool of the digital world, digital mixers, with the Zoom, what was it, S16 or something like that, whatever it was, the Zoom mixing, R16 I think it was called, and that in itself was great. Good mixer, very lightweight, very compact, still had a lot of powerful features and functionality, and they've grown quite a bit in regards to the digital mixers. And then we progressed into the X18, that world in regards to digital, and then here to the TouchMix 16 as well, as things that we've purchased over the years. Now we've used other digital mixers, X32 and also the TouchMix 30, Allen and Heath, and a few others. And then, of course, a few analog boards, even not terribly recently, but kind of recently, which is almost being phased out in my opinion. But, some people still like to use them or like to have that physical touch and buttons and knobs and such. But with the digital world, you got a lot more options out there for you. So we've migrated over to the digital world in regards to mixers, and here we are. So on here, we're going to give a pretty much what we call a live overview, or live review rather, of the TouchMix 16. We're going to show you some, screens, and we're going to go through some of the menus and features and things of that nature in order to give you if you've never used this type of mixer or this particular mixer or this family of mixers, you'll get a great understanding of how it looks and also, what it can do for you. Now, we want you to let us know what you prefer to use. So there are people who still prefer analog. Some people prefer digital. Some people prefer not to mess with it all. So it all depends upon what you're looking at. And if you're just here just to hang out and, learn a little bit, if you first time being introduced to it, let us know that as well. And if you're an experienced user and you have your, take on what the, pluses and minuses are on either side, this mixer or others, give us your input on that, and we'll definitely be happy to see and hear what you got to say about that. So at this point, we're going to cut over to the actual TouchMix 16's mixer and kind of display here. As you can see, we are on the main screen. You have channels 1 through 8 here, and then you have also 9 through 16 as well. So this way you can see those inputs. You do have your stereo inputs, stereo 17 and 18, 19 and 20. You have a 2-track playback if you need it, and also a 2-track record as well. You do have your effects masters, 1 through 4. You can choose on the master on the FX, and then you have your aux masters as well. So this way, in case you have some sort of sub mixes or monitor mixes, things like that. And you also have DCA groups. So first things first, let's get back to the main channel, the main portion of the mixer here. And as you can see, I'm talking on channel 1 right now. That's where my voice is coming through. And let's look at where we got these settings at. Now, right now, I have on a headset mic. So we're using a Shure, this is a BLX4 with a wireless transmitter and the receiver, and also a headset mic. Now, in regards to EQ, as you can see, this is where we have it set. And this is just tuned for this particular mic. I mean, of course, you can choose your own settings and customize it as you need to. And also, I'll be quiet for a minute. You'll see the actual gate that's engaged here. You see that red line come down when I stop talking. And it comes back up and releases as I start to talk. That's just to help minimize some of the background noise, which is a great option to see from this main screen. You can see a very good level of the settings based upon where you're at on that particular channel. You can see your aux sends mixes for any of your monitor mixes or inner mixes. You can see if your compressor is engaging at all, and if it's even on or off. And you can actually turn it on or off as well from here. Same thing with the gate. I'm not going to do it for the gate, but for the compressor, I'm not really, worried about that here. And then you can see your EQ settings here to a certain degree. Now, of course, if you want to change things, you can just click on tap on the options. It's very responsive. But before we do that, I want to go over to my next channel real quick. I'm not going to change nothing, but I just want to show you some of the presets that come with this. And this right here is very, very interesting, because a lot of these presets work very well, at least from a standpoint of a live instrument, a live scenario, and probably recording scenario as well. So as you can see here, we're just going to start with the default, which is really nothing. They have a bass preset, number of presets. They got drums, number of presets. You can see here there's a lot of different options, especially for the snare, for a 10-inch tom, for a 12-inch tom, for a 14, 16, and as for frets, which meaning things like guitars, you have a number of different choices here for an acoustic guitar, banjo, electric guitar, things of that nature, even a mandolin. In regards to keyboards, you got a few options here for digital keys, digital organ, digital piano, and a rotary speaker. Never really seen that, but I guess it's a thing. Then you got your percussions for like bongos, congos, things like that. Strings, they give an option for a fiddle. I'm not sure why they didn't include any more strings, but I'm sure there's more out there. And then you got the vocals and speech, music, female vocal, compressed, and speech, handheld, headset mic, much like I'm wearing, lavalier or podium mic. And then also, matter of fact, let's go back here real quick. So for speech, you got a few options here. You got a male and a female compressor, and compressed voice, and then speech in general. And you got the wind and brass section here for like things like a saxophone, trombone, flugelhorn, I think that's pronounced, I'm not sure. Trumpet and a trumpet muted. Don't know why, but hey, it's there. Now, those are all the presets in regards to instruments here. And the great thing about this is that you can actually save your own. So I have a few different microphones, and I just label them, red, blue, white, and yellow, just for the sake of, colors and also numbers. You can also make I made like a basic channel preset 2, basic channel preset like the first one. There's an electric guitar. I think I may have changed that a little bit here on my side. Same thing with the female compressor gated preset, a kick preset, a lav preset, one of my microphones, a few of my microphones, condenser mics, and then a room mic itself, things like that, some other vocal settings. So you have a lot of flexibility. A lot of flexibility in regards to having presets and getting it set up the way you want to. So let's go into the EQ area real quick. And now, as you can see, this is on channel 2. Now, remember, I'm talking on channel 1. So channel 2, You can go into the EQ and you can make changes as you need to here. Just tap and use the jog wheel in order to make adjustments, or you can use your finger on the screen depending upon what you like to do. It just follows your finger, which is wonderful. Now, I will say the touchscreen, maybe sometimes, maybe I'm just too, light on the touch. I don't like to press it too hard. I just think it's, I try to treat it as delicately as I possibly can. So sometimes it may not be as responsive as I would like it to be. However, it is very responsive. And then, of course, you can change the type of, adjustments you're going to make here, on the low end, and same thing on the high end. Just tap, and you can make adjustments as needed with the jog wheel. And of course, you can listen to it as you need to and make the necessary corrections as needed. Now, it does have I'm going to get back to here. It does have a real-time analyzer, and you can see here that as I'm talking, this is where my voice is primarily sitting, and it's very seldomly coming over here on this side here. So you can see where your EQ is per the actual instrument or voice with the actual real-time analyzer. Now, you do have a compressor. Of course, it could be as basic as, rolling one knob. You can turn this into the simple mode and keep things really simple. Just take it and roll it as you need to. Or you can come off the simple and you can make different adjustments for the compressor. This one, it does have a built-in de-esser that you can turn on and turn off right here, which is a wonderful thing. Not many, I haven't seen really any mixers that have that kind of functionality. And also you have your release option here and your digital gain or makeup gain, essentially, if need be, for the channel. Then you have your main fader and you have your master fader. Now, all you have to do to select something or to change it is tap on it. You see it highlights and you can make the necessary adjustments. It's as simple as that. Now, on the gate itself is just that, very much like the compressor in regards to the way it looks. Of course, the function is totally different, so you want to make sure that you use it accordingly and respectively. And as a matter of fact, let me turn this light on real quick, see if I might be able to get a better view of the shell of this. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. And let's see here. So now let's see about the effects. Now here's where it gets really fun. So you have 4 different effects you can use here on this particular mixer. On the TouchMix 30, you do have a few more options for effects because of the size and, they just want to give more flexibility on that mixer. So, you can select the actual effect. And once again, you got a number of presets. You can change the type, or you can change the actual type of the effect there by choosing here and then choosing whichever effect you want to work with. So that in itself can make all the difference, and it also can be very effective in regards to how it's going to look, how it's going to sound rather, as you shape whatever you're looking to do. Now back to, let's see, my mixing. Actually, let me get back here and get back to my channel. And now you can make the changes here by tapping and rotating as needed. So this way it makes it very easy to add more of this channel into the effect. And then same thing with the next one. You can do whatever kind of combination you choose to do, whatever that suits your needs. And let's just say that's what you wanted for your effects mix. Now for the auxes, same difference. It's just an aux where you're placing your instrument or your voice going through these particular channels. You can adjust it as needed. Now, it's very, very important that you pay attention to the post fader or pre fader, right? Of course, pre is before, post is after the fader. Now, if you have it on pre fader, that means pre the main fader for the channel. So if you turn down the channel and you have it on pre fader, the effect is going in there based upon your mix, the aux mix. Okay, so let's get back to actually where's that? I was over here, and it's gonna be, if it's on pre-fader, it's gonna be based upon your it's not going through anything. It's not going to be affected by your main fader. It's only going to go through the monitor as you have it set. If it's on post fader, when you throw down the main fader for the channel, it'll take it out of whichever your, aux that you're working on, or aux that it was routed to partially itself. So let's just say on the vocal monitor is kind of hot. Let's say it was +4, right? And if you have this typically at, say, roughly -3, let's just say that's where you had to mix that. And, you got your person singing or your instrument playing, whatever it might be. Now, you decide that, hey, that channel is giving me too much of something somewhere, so you decide to bring it back. You can bring it back on the main, and it won't affect the overall volume coming out of here because this is on pre-fader. Now, if you change this to post-fader, and then you come back to that channel, anytime you make the adjustment on here, it will adjust the volume, at least audibly, on the main speakers and also on whatever that mix is. Now, it won't change the level here visually for you. It won't sync up, but you'll hear the difference where it'll totally blank out or it'll raise up according to how you're making the change. So pay very close attention to the post and pre-fader. And use it according to your environment in order to make sure that it's going to work the way you want it to. And let's see. So we talked about the aux mixes and the presets. Now the setup is also extremely important. You want to make sure that this group right. You want to make sure you have your, your workflow set right. If you want to change the delay, you can change the delay for some reason. It measures in actual feet and milliseconds and meters. You can change that. Now, to engage it, though, you got to tap on here to engage it. So you want to make sure that it's turned on when you want to use it, because otherwise, if you don't see that thing, that indicator being blue, you can do this all day long. You're not going to get any kind of difference of whatever you're looking to do before the delay. Simple as that. Now, here's another very important little option. Having it as on the mains, or maybe not on the mains. Totally up to you, depending upon your setup. So if you come in and, you got things set up, you got sound coming through the monitors and the ears, but you don't have the sound coming through the mains for that particular instrument or that particular channel, come over here, press mains at a time that the volume is low or non-existent, because you don't want to throw it in as someone is singing or playing, and it might kind of jolt them or jolts whoever's listening to your service or your audio at that time to provide that best possible audio service to the ears. Just saying. Now, last but not least, we're not going to go into everything, but we're going to go into at least one more area. What do we want to talk about? Let's see here. Let's go into the mains, and then let's go to the anti-feedback. So this right here is a important feature for especially live sound environments. This gives the ability to try to minimize or remove altogether any chance of feedback happening before you get the event started. You want to go to this and set this up. Now, I'm not going to go into how to do it because it's not long or drawn out, but it's really not what the purpose of this particular video is. But this is definitely a place that you want to visit before you really get things really going for your live events. And also just to get familiarized with it, because you never know when you might need to use it in real time. So overall, the TouchMix 16 itself, this particular device is very, very useful, very flexible. You see it has 6 aux mixes, as you can see 1 through 6 on the top there in that little black bar. And then you have the main left and right, and it also has a talkback mic. Now, when it comes to the feasibility, usability, and things like that, very flexible, very compact in size, and also very, very functional, highly functional when it comes to, anything pro audio. Now, there's even some, folks who use this for a drum mixer, and then the drummer will make adjustments, or maybe the audio engineer will make adjustments based upon that. But they love to use it just as a drum sub mixer, and feed maybe two channels in, a low end kind of channel, and then the mid and high range type channel. So this way they can save on their board and also have great control over the instrument as well. And then some use it just as a main mixer for everything. All the channels that they can, they fit them in there, and they adjust accordingly to their liking. So overall, if I would rate this particular mixer, let's see, let's call it a scale of 1 to 10. And I mean, we are 1010 Studios, so we got to give it a scale of 1 to 10. And let's say 10 being the best and 1 being the not so best, as in trash. This one really ranks pretty high, and I'll tell you why. So the main reasons why I would rank it higher, and I'll let you know the score that I'd rank it, is number 1, the size, 2, the functionality, the flexibility, the quality of the build, the actual form factor, and also the features that are built in. You don't have to really do anything else. All of those, I would rate this at a 9.5. And that's pretty high. And let me scale it back. Let me give it a 9. And I'll tell you why here. So a couple of reasons why I would give this a 9 compared to a 9.5 or anything higher as a perfect mixer for this kind of a setup, this kind of functionality it's designed for, is one, is it doesn't allow for you to change the name of the banks on the 1 through 8 or 9 through 16. It might be a small thing to you, but that's a touch that if you put it on the TouchMix 30, let me have it on TouchMix 16. I'm just saying. Who's to say that someone's memory is great? So, hey, let's customize that. 2 is the fact that it has a Wi-Fi dongle that's there. However, it does not have an Ethernet connection in order to connect to an external router in order to provide that same type of Wi-Fi connection, but from a better standpoint. Now, that might be minimal to you, but that's extremely important if you're a one-man, kind of a show type deal and you're not able to be at the mixer. You need the best possible connection, and that in itself would, definitely help out to have a LAN connection on this version in order to provide the best Wi-Fi signal via a external router. Now, you can use the dongle with a Wi-Fi router. You just got to make sure it's, decently placed and set it up accordingly. The other thing that I would say needs some improvement on is the fact that it does not allow for you to connect this to a computer in order to use it as a audio interface. That was a huge thing to me. So I was thinking about rating this at 8.5, but I'm giving it a 9 because of everything else pretty much overshadows it. And you can record straight to the SD card, or sorry, not SD card. You can record straight through to a USB thumb drive and be able to, manipulate it as needed in your DAW after the fact. Extra step. However, it is an extra step that is, can be worthwhile. And last but not least, let me see, what else was it? It was something else on this. Oh, also that standby button. So that standby button is just that. It does not turn off the device. The only way to turn off is to pull the power cord out of the wall or from the back of the unit. And you would think there'd be a power switch on it. I mean, granted, they can put in very low power mode. It's not going to suck up much energy. I get that. However, you would think that they would put a power button on this. Just saying. That would be very welcome for this kind of form factor. And that's pretty much it for today. This just was going to be an overview in order to give you an idea of what you could expect with the TouchMix 16 in order to help those who may or may not have seen this before. You've seen it now. Definitely check it out. Make sure that you reach out to us in the comments. Let us know what you think about this particular mixer, as well as whatever mixer that you typically choose to use on your day-to-day audio professional audio gigs. So until next time, stay tuned and stay blessed.